Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by World Series of Fighting Middleweight Brian Grinnell. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, Mike?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. Brian, you got a fight coming up this Friday night at World Series of Fighting 23. Kelvin Tiller, he's out, you're in. It's a short notice fight. I'm just curious, how did this fight all come together? Did World Series of Fighting come to you and your manager, or did you find out that Kelvin Tiller was injured and you went to them? Explain it to me. How did this all come together?
The World Series of Fighting, actually, Kevin Tiller got injured, and they called my manager looking for a, short notice middleweight. And I'm already, I try to stay in shape, and I try and stay on weight and everything like that. And I was actually getting ready for a title fight in Shawnee, Oklahoma at 170. So I was already, cutting down weight. I normally walk around about 200 pounds, and so I was about 185 anyway. And so my manager got the call, and he offered it to me. So, I jumped on the chance.
Now, when exactly did World Series of Fighting offer you this fight?
About 7 days ago.
Okay. I was just curious about that because on Saturday, I believe it was, that's when I read about this fight being scheduled. There was an article online that said that Kelvin Tiller was injured and that you were filling in for him, and the fight was now official. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah. That was when the official news broke. But yeah, I got offered about 7 days ago.
How many short notice fights have you had? Have you ever had a fight on this short of notice, or is this a new experience for you?
This is a new experience, but I pretty much tend to stay in shape. I'm a personal trainer by trade, and so I tend to stay in shape anyway.
On Friday at World Series of Fighting 23, you're fighting Vagabov. I hope that's how you say his name. How much do you know about him?
I know that he's 15-0. He's predominantly a striker. He's out of Russia. He's mainly fought M1 Global. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Now, some guys like to watch a lot of film on their opponents. Some guys like to watch no film on their opponents. Some guys just like to go in there and do what they're going to do in the fight, regardless of who they're fighting. And then there's some guys who go in there and they have to have a set game plan and all this. So I'm just curious, have you been watching a lot of film on Vagabov leading up to this fight, or do you let your coaches do that, or do you not watch a whole lot of film? And is there a lot of film for you to watch on this guy?
Plenty of fights on the internet and stuff like that, but I tend to just, I tend to train for my fight. I fight my fight. I don't train to, fight somebody else's fight.
Now, I've always been fascinated with short notice fights and looking online to see what some of these fighters are studying on each other. Like when this fight was announced, I immediately went online and looked up your name to see what Vagabov's camp was probably looking at, because I'm very curious and interested in seeing what maybe these fighters who fight on short notice will be studying. So I went on YouTube and I went on some other places that have videos on their sites, and I've noticed that you don't have a lot of film out there for the public to see, and of the film that you do have out there, a lot of it's from 4 or 5 years ago, so there isn't a whole lot that he can study leading up to this fight film-wise. So I'm just curious, is that deliberate on your part? Do you not like having your film available for the public to see, or is it something where you're okay with having your film out there to the public? It's just some of the shows that you've fought on, you've had trouble acquiring the film, or they haven't been streamed or on TV or any of that kind of stuff. Why is it that there isn't a lot of film on you from the past?
Mainly the last, 4 or 5 years, I haven't been able to get a hold of a whole lot of video, and honestly, I'm not exactly too upset about it either. So, I'd prefer to, have some video out there for the fans and bigger promotions to be able to see and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, keep your opponents guessing, let them try and figure out what I'm planning to do, stuff like that. So it works out to my advantage.
Right. How close did you think you were to getting a call up to a big show? Because obviously World Series of Fighting, one of the major organizations, and let's say that you didn't get this opportunity and you fought that fight in Shawnee, Oklahoma. If this opportunity doesn't come about, how close do you think you were to getting a call to a big show?
I don't know. I take one fight at a time, realistically. If the bigger, I've always, taken it just one fight at a time. If the bigger promotions call, they call. Every fighter dreams of big promotions just, calling you up one day and, asking you to come fight and everything like that. But, I've never, gone out there and expecting, for the next win to be the one that gets me that shot. I just take it one fight at a time.
World Series of Fighting, are they treating this as a tryout where they're going to wait and see how you do on Friday to see if you are someone who they're going to continue with and offer a long-term deal? Or is it something where they're rewarding you with a multiple fight deal right off the bat because you're stepping up on 7 days' notice? I'm just curious, is World Series of Fighting treating this as a tryout, or do you already have a deal in place for the future?
As far as this is just, I'm just taking it one fight at a time right now, man, just like I said.
Mm-hmm. Now, normally you fight at welterweight, but this fight on Friday is going to be fought at 185 pounds. So I'm just curious, is this a permanent move to middleweight?
I'll fight at middleweight. I'll fight at welterweight. I'm strong enough to fight at middleweight. I always have been. And but it's making that drop to welterweight isn't that big of a cut for me. So, whatever they want, whatever they feel is the best move for me, I'll take that into consideration and move from there.
So had this fight been at welterweight on 7 days' notice, you would have been able to make the weight? No problem?
Oh, yeah, quite easily, yeah. Yeah. I'm not one of those guys that on the off season they put on, 20 to 30 pounds. I like to stay lean. I like to stay fast. My biggest hobby is, staying in shape. I like to stay, ripped up and big, and that's just, how I live my life. I don't eat, I eat clean every day. I don't like to go out there and just binge eat and stuff like that. I like to take care of myself.
Because you've only had 7 days to get ready for this fight, what does your training look like during this time? Has it just been conditioning, blowing your lungs out, trying to get your weight down? I'm sure you're not sparring. I'm sure you're not doing any of that. Give us an idea. What exactly has your training looked like over the course of these last few days?
Condition. Just pushing that last little bit. I like to push to where I can fight a championship fight on short notice, so I can fight 30 minutes straight, no problem. 15 minutes shouldn't be any kind of issue.
Today is Tuesday. You're going to be weighing in on Thursday, and you're going to be fighting on Friday. So I'm just curious, what's your schedule looking like from now until the fight?
Oh, I've got to check in Phoenix tomorrow at noon, and then the WSOF has a big schedule for us tomorrow. We got media stuff tomorrow, and we got to do promo videos and all that kind of stuff, meet and greets and all that good stuff.
Will any friends or family be making the trip to watch you fight, or is it too short notice?
No, I've actually got quite a few people coming in from Oklahoma to watch me, and we've got a lot of people tuning in, through the various streaming sites and various ways that you can watch the fights and stuff like that. So there should be quite a few people watching me go out there.
How do you see this fight ending?
I see me winning. That's any way possible. Any way that he gives me one weakness, and I'm going to capitalize on it.
Brian, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, I would like to thank my management, All-Star MMA. I would like to thank my sponsors, Rock Candy Resources, Gym 210, out of Ada, Oklahoma, Pure Nutrition. So that's it.
Brian, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck this Friday night at World Series of Fighting 23.
Thanks, Mike.